The Blackhawks lose their fifth straight, losing to the Nashville Predators 4-3 at the United Center. Oof, we got a lot to talk about. Join us next on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Happy Black Jersey Black Friday. This is the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Greg Boyson. Chloe and Steven are here running the show for us tonight with Sarah on Bulls duty. Lots going on. Lots to talk about. The Hawks lose 4-3 to the Nashville Predators at the United Center. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast later, we love you. We thank you. Follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Greg, it's fifth in a row. You can't blame the refs. You can't blame ESPN. You can't blame bad calls.
You could blame the black jerseys, though.
You can blame the Blackhawks for this loss.
They put the black jerseys on, and then they started playing like the 1998 Blackhawks.
It's not great. It's not great. Look, this is a game that you had to have. This is you're reeling. You've lost 4 in a row, and you say, okay, well, you feel okay because at least in those games you had the edge in play, and oh man, just fell short at the end to some really good. Like Minnesota's really good, Colorado's really good, playoff teams, Stanley Cup contenders, fine. So here's your chance to get right. Here's your thing. Here's your chance to fix things. You come out with a good start. You get a 1-0 lead, and then Nashville just puts their skates on your throat in the second period, and you're just chasing and chasing and chasing.
Yeah, I mean, this was a bad game. All
right.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
See you later. No, I mean, like, this was a game. There haven't been many games over the past few years where you walk into the building going, this is a game the Blackhawks should win.
Yeah.
Nashville Predators are as mid can be. They had the fewest points in the NHL coming into tonight. They've only had one win in North America during the month of November. And you get out. Like, getting owned by the Steven Stamkos line in 2021 is fine. You almost expect that.
Yeah.
Getting owned by the Steven Stamkos line in 2025 is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
It's ugly. And
you can't lose to this team if you're supposed to be taken seriously as a somewhat maybe fringe playoff team, or at least a team that's going to play meaningful games in March and April. You can't lose at home on a Friday night, on a big night, to the worst team in the NHL. Not only just lose, but not even play great. It wasn't like they hit a couple posts. I mean, they did hit a couple posts, but it's not like they dominated the game for any stretch of this game.
It's not a deserve-to-win-o-meter game.
The Minnesota game, you could argue they should have won that game. You know, they played better. They were the better team for 2/3 of that game. The Seattle game, they were the better team for 2/3 of that game. The Colorado game, they were the better team for most of that night. Tonight, They were the better team for about 4 minutes.
That's it. And look, like, you get Ryan Green scores the power play goal. You tie the game up after reeling. And then you give up a goal, a minute and 15 seconds later? And you put Dickinson, Mikheyev, Donato, Crevier, and Grzelcyk on the ice. That's the line that you're going to say, you know what we're putting this line out to do? Not get scored on. Instead, they get caved in. Mikheyev gets off on a change because the shift is so long. He gets an opportunity. Burakovsky comes on, so he gets hit with the minus on that shift. But, man, that's the sort of stuff that drives you crazy, where you say, look, the right move by Jeff Blashill. Okay, fine. We've been playing like crap. We have tied the game. Momentum is back in our favor. Now I'm going to put my defenders out there to defend, and right away Nashville puts the puck in the net, and you're chasing it again. And I see there's some people in here talking about Arvid Soderblom, who, again, wasn't great, but he certainly wasn't the reason you lost. And look, if you're going to play him, Nashville's the team you play him against. You've got to play your backup sometimes. You can't play Spencer Knight for 82 games.
You've played him against Nashville and you played him against Buffalo, and the team in front of him played like ass both games.
Yes.
Neither of those losses are on Soderblom. Tonight's not on Soderblom. You want to make a, maybe you make a save on that O'Reilly play, but O'Reilly shouldn't have a one-on-one situation with your goaltender in the third period. Like, it just, he needs to make one more save tonight, but you can't really pin any of those goals on him.
No, and the Wood goal from Nashville is a stretch pass from Haig, who hit him in stride. It was a breakaway scoring chance. Levshov couldn't get on him. Not Levshov's fault. He just was on the other side of the ice, tried to get over. It's just the kind of result you can't. If you are a team that is serious about being in meaningful games, come spring, come February, come March, come April, you've got to beat Nashville when they are on the ropes, ready to sell off Forsberg and Stamkos and all these guys that they thought were going to lead them into the glory days of Nashville Predators. It hasn't worked out. They've been crap. You've got them at home. The city's feeling great after a Bears win. You've got these new black uniforms everybody's wanted, and you go out and crap yourself against Nashville. It can't happen. And now you've got all these people around the country who are the PDO fiends and like the numbers guys, like, here comes the regression. Okay, fine. Now they've got something to stand on with that, because you have proven you are not who you were to start the season. Now it is up to the Hawks to figure this out and start getting back to the way they were playing early in the season. And look, correct. The shooting percentage was way high. The save percentage was way high. Not totally sustainable, but you should be able, if you're the team you think you are, and if they're the team that we kind of believe they are, this should have been a cakewalk of a game. Nashville was there to be beaten.
They lost almost every one-on-one battle. They lost almost every puck race tonight. They were getting hemmed in all night long. Didn't matter which line was out there. I mean, it's just, it's a game you need to win. It's a game you have to win if you want to be playing those meaningful games late in the season, after the Olympic break, after the trade deadline. You have to win these types of games. And you had Sunday is your 8th home game out of 9, and you've kind of squandered this a lot. This is your 4th straight loss on home ice. 3 of those games were winnable. This one was the first one, even though they only lost by a goal. This was their first one that I didn't feel was winnable after that first period. I knew they were in trouble when they got essentially 6 straight minutes of on the power play in the first period. They had the first power play, and then 7 seconds after that expired, they get the double minor for the high stick on Donato, and they didn't score in those 6 minutes. They scored right after, but you get 6 straight minutes on the power play at home in the first period, and you don't score. You knew that the table was going to flip. Even that they got the goal late in the period. How many times have we just talked about the last game? How many times do they give up goals in the late period? So they finally score one in the final minute of a period. Yep. And what happens? They come out in the second period, and they just had nothing.
They had no gas.
They had nothing.
And there's no excuse for it either. They haven't played since Wednesday.
You saw, some mistakes that young teams are going to make that can be corrected, and hopefully don't have, like the second Nashville goal. Frank Nazar's got to get that puck deep.
Yep.
I know he was out there for over a minute because they were hemmed in their own zone, but he gets the puck out right around the red line, and instead of just trying to get it deep, he tries to make a play. It gets picked off. 3 seconds later, Stamkos puts it in the net.
Yeah.
And then the third goal, Alex Vlasic kind of got caught in no man's land, gave Evangelista too much room, and then didn't really sell out for the block. And
it's got to be one or the other.
Like,
it's got to be one or the other.
Either use that reach or just drop to your knees and take away the shooting lane. Like, it just he kind of got stuck in like, uh-oh, I don't know what to do. And then it was too late, and the puck got by him. So, it's a frustrating night because it's a team that's a beatable team out there, and you looked like the team with the fewest points in the NHL most of the night.
Yeah, and look, like we've been seeing the, and it's sort of what you're talking about too. Is you've been talking about this, like like Nazar not making the smart play. Like we saw a lot of that tonight. Like there were a few times where Wyatt Kaiser's got an opportunity to clear, but it just happened in the third period. He's got a clear shot to get it out of the defensive zone, but he turns around and tries to pass it through his legs. Like, knock that off.
Simple.
You're not that good. And I'm not saying that about Kaiser specifically, but we've seen a lot of that from this team where it's just extra pass, looking for the highlight reel goal night after night after night. And it's great that they're feeling confident and they feel like they have the ability to do that. And every now and again they do. And they connect on a magical goal like that. There's been several of those this year.
Make that play when you're up 5-0.
Exactly.
Not chasing a goal in the third
especially
period.
when the game is going the way it's going, where for whatever reason, and look, Jeff Flashel's talked about this before, there's nights you just don't have it. It happens to every athlete at every level. Some days you just don't have your best game, and it's how do you compete when you don't have your best? And the way you make up for not having your best is by outworking, keeping the game simple, doing the right things, winning puck battles. Look, you might not have your hands, you might not have your legs fully that game, right? You might be fighting it a little bit, but compete is something that you don't really lose. And simplifying the game is something you don't really lose. And it's something that's been getting away from them over this last little stretch. And especially like you got good starts against good teams, Minnesota, Colorado, great. But then as the game goes on, it gets away from them. And I don't know. It is an incredibly frustrating loss. You'll take a loss to Colorado. You'll take a loss to Minnesota because you feel like those teams are better than you.
And you'll take a loss. You'll take
beat Nashville.
You'll take a loss. You feel better about that Minnesota loss just because you played so well for so long in that game. Yeah, it sucks you lost. You couldn't finish it, but for the first 2 periods of that game, you looked like a top-notch NHL team. You'll definitely you're fine with the 1-0 loss to Colorado, the best team in the NHL so far this season. You have no problems with that. There were a lot of positives in that game that you could build off of.
Yep.
Games like tonight,
they didn't build off it.
Games like tonight are just there's not a lot to take out of. There's not a lot to feel good about. You got pantsed on home ice by a team that's not very good at hockey. So what does that say about you?
I mean,
you got to bounce back. Like, you can't let the losing streak's 5. You've got 2 points in the last 5 games. You have to figure out a way to get out of this funk.
It's not getting easier.
We sat here after that Seattle game and wondered, like, man, I really hope this type of loss doesn't affect them. And we sat here with confidence saying, I doubt it. This team's pretty resilient. They like to, we've seen them bounce back from bad games, bad periods, time and time again already this season. And I don't know. Seems like that Seattle game kind of derailed them a little bit because the next night out in Buffalo was the worst game of the year.
Yep.
And then you can't close out against Minnesota. You lose to Colorado. You play a subpar game tonight. You have to figure out a way to get 2 points against Anaheim on Sunday. You have to.
Yeah, you've got the Ducks Sunday. You got the Golden Knights on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Kings
back-to-back against the Kings.
Against Kings Thursday and Saturday. The Ducks again. This is not getting easier.
No, you have to figure it out. You're going on the road against, the Knights have struggled mightily this season, but on paper, they're a superior team.
So have the Predators.
Yeah, well, but they're not a superior team on paper.
Right.
I mean, you look at the Knights, look at that roster. They should be a lot better than they are. The Predators are pretty much where everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out a way to beat the Ducks on Sunday. They don't have their top goalie. Lucas Donstol's out 2 to 3 weeks with an injury. You're probably going to face Peter Mrazek Sunday because Ville Husso played today. So, some of these guys spent the last 2 years scoring on him in practice. Figure out how to do it in the game. You have to win Sunday. Otherwise, this is going to snow. This is going to just the longer this losing streak goes, the harder it's going to be to break
100%.
it. And the problem is you're losing at the same time the Minnesota Wild have won 7 in a row. The Colorado Avalanche have been red hot.
Yeah.
Everybody else that was you were either in front of or neck and neck with 2 weeks ago or all of a sudden passed you by. And if you don't figure this out quickly, you're going to be in their dust. and it's going to be back to, well, here we go, top 4 pick again.
They are now 2 points out of a wild card spot, but they'd have to leapfrog the Sharks, who we were all laughing at earlier in the season. The Sharks now have 27 points. Hawks with 25. Your wild card teams are Vegas with 28, Utah with 27. But those teams that you felt pretty well ahead of, Edmonton, Winnipeg, St. Louis now is only 2 points behind you. Vancouver's 3 points. Like, they're talking about Vancouver as if it's a complete disaster. They're 3 points behind the Hawks.
Yeah. Who've beaten the Hawks once this year.
Yeah. They've got to figure this out. They've got to get to it. There's a lot of theories on what's going on in the chat. We could talk about some of those. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to our page. We got a lot to tell you about coming up. Mario's going to join us from the United Center shortly. I see we've got some post-game video rolling in, so we'll discuss what we're going to play from there. So stick around. We'll back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner. If your football team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. And if you're a new customer, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet 5, win or lose. Here's what you need to do. Sign up. Use our code CHGO365. Deposit $10, place a bet for 5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, use those bonuses on spreads, totals, player props, futures, whatever you want, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. So again, download the app, use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. You must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. And a reminder that this offer is in-app only. And getting a hold of your finances can be a challenge. Sometimes you don't know what your, I don't know what my net worth is, or where your 401ks are, your investments, everything like that. If you want to feel organized and confident in your finances, use Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. I started using Monarch a few months ago. I don't have the biggest financial portfolio because I worked at the Score for a long time. But tracking my money, tracking my spending, and I'm seeing, oh, wow, I'm spending too much here, too much in the video game world, too much on food, too much on whatever it might be, and you can rein it in. Just having an understanding of where your money's going, that's what you need to do. So do it. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself Monarch Money. Go to monarch.com. Use our code CHGO in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code CHGO. We are back on CHGO Blackhawks, and what we like to do every now and again is we take the temp of the Blackhawks fans, and that is presented, as always, by your friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com, and you better make sure that furnace is ready to go because it's getting cold this week. Lots of snow coming tomorrow. Here's a couple things I'm seeing in the chat is Ryan Green does not belong on the top line. And, of course, Arvid Soderblom getting a lot of the blame for the loss. We talked about Soderblom a little bit. Let's talk about Ryan Green. Ryan Green in this game scored a goal, was a +1, had 4 shots on goal, 9 shot attempts, won 50% of his faceoffs, and hit the post.
Had 2 block shots, too.
I don't think Ryan Green is the problem right now.
Nope.
I don't know. I think, obviously, people want the Hawks to add top 6 scoring. Of course, it's something we've heard for several years. They want someone to play alongside Bedard. Burakovsky is one of our Game Puck nominees, along with Ryan Green, who we're talking about, and Mario nominated Ryan Donato, so get those votes in. But Ryan Green is out there getting chances. He's winning faceoffs. He's doing the things you need him to do to be effective. Is he an ideal first-line left wing? No. He's not Patrick Sharp. I understand that. But Ryan Green is definitely not the problem on this team.
No. I mean, if he gets a little more finish, there was the it was the Colorado game where he had 3 golden chances in the first period and didn't score.
But no one had finished in that game.
He had the goal tonight. It was a great play by Oliver Moore. He got himself in the right position and buried it. Could have had at least another goal or two tonight. He's got 3 goals. Probably should have 5 or 6 at the very least.
Yeah.
But that's going to come. But he's exceeded expectations. This was a kid that was supposed to start the season.
I thought for sure he was starting.
He
in
was
Rockford.
going to.
Yes.
And then got recalled because Landon Slaggert wasn't good to go.
Yeah.
And then Landon Slaggert got Wally pipped. And Google that, kids. But
it's a good reference.
Yes. Google that.
Chloe, Wally
yeah.
Pipp. Look it up.
Look it up.
Later. After the show.
Yeah.
Focus in. Lock in, Chloe.
It's not that important. But he's been fine. Like, yeah, you want him to score more, and I get it. You want a guy, you want a guy on the Bedard line that can bury more of those chances. But that line together, Burakovsky and Ryan Green have been the best 2 wingers for Connor Bedard all season. The numbers prove it. That's why Jeff Blashill has them together. They were a 60% Corsi at 5-on-5 tonight and produced how many scoring chances did they have? They had 8 scoring chances as a line, 2 high dangers. So he makes good passes. He's, reliable defensively. When you have that out there, along with a guy that knows where to be on the ice like Andre Burakovsky, it gives Bedard a little more freedom to try and create. So, it's not the ideal top line winger, and that's not his long-term spot.
Yeah. Things are jacked up too because Foligno's out. So you're trying to spread some of the scoring around.
But that Burakovsky and Green have been the best 2 line mates for Bedard all season long, based on, the possession numbers, the scoring chances, they're outscoring their opponents. It's been the best combination. Is it something that, is going to be, are they going to be a Hall of Fame line together for years? No. But right now, it's working well. And Jeff Blashill said it today after morning skate. I know people say, oh, put Bertuzzi up there or put Nazar up there, but Nazar's best line historically has been with Teuvo and Bertuzzi.
And look,
so you're putting your best 2 players, Bedard and Nazar, on the best combinations for them that you have to work with right now.
And one thing too is Frank Nazar hasn't scored a goal in a month. And I know he's not healthy, but the reality is he's not scored a goal in a month. That has to change. And he's not really, we always say, you don't really worry about a guy until he stops getting chances. He hasn't really been getting chances either. We know he's off an injury. It's clear he's not 100%, but he's got to start performing. And this team needs some secondary scoring. It cannot be up to Bedard and Bertuzzi every night. And look, tonight you got it. Teuvo, Green, Donato. That's what you need.
He's had 2 of those.
But more often than not, if 59 and 98 are not scoring, you're not winning the game. You're not getting goals. So they've got to get somewhere else. So you can't, the idea of putting Nazar up with Bedard and Burakovsky or Bertuzzi or whatever and stacking that line, then you're taking 3 lines that can't score, basically. You've got to spread out the offense a little bit. Joel Quenneville did it all the time. It's the reason Taves and Kane didn't really play together unless it was break glass in case of emergency.
It was the nuclear option for a reason.
Oh, if you want to try it for a period, maybe you throw Nazar up there with Bedard and see what happens for a little while. But I had no problem with the way the Bedard line played today. I don't think that needs to make a big change. Bedard had 5 shots on goal, 7 shot attempts. He didn't have any points today, but Burakovsky had an assist. He was very effective in his first game back. Got a breakaway chance that he shot wide, but was making some nice setup passes. It's just, I think when Foligno comes back, whenever that might be, things will maybe balance out a little better. But for now, I'm not making a big change at top. And in terms of Arvid Soderblom, if we want to get into that more, since we're wrapping up taking the temp, you don't really have another option right now. Brossoit is not close. Comesso's been struggling in Rockford.
Yeah, he's been up and down. He gave up 7 goals the other night. That's not ideal.
So you've got to play him.
Yeah, Brossoit, is going to need some time in Rockford. He's going to need a conditioning stint for sure before you even consider him playing in the NHL. But I think the Hawks would like to find him a landing spot before that's even a thing. But it's funny how as a whole, as a group, Blackhawks fans, and those of us who cover the team as well, spent the last 3 seasons complaining about how often the lines change.
Right.
And now you got a coach that's a little more patient with the lines, and that's not good enough either. It's like, well,
there's only so much you could do. Like right now, you don't have a ton of options. I mean,
right.
Do you call up Nick Lardis? Do you maybe give Kevin Korchinski a look here because he's playing well in Rockford? I saw that he left the game early tonight. I don't know if he got banged up. I don't know if they said take Korchinski out. We might be calling him up. I don't know, but those are really your only other options. I don't know. Like, I'm not ready to. Like, Nick Lardis has been really solid in Rockford. There's no doubt about it. But do you want to call him up already and say, all right, come and save this losing streak? You want to call Lardis up when things are going better, so the pressure's not on him to come up there and be a difference maker night one, right?
Right. No.
I think that puts a lot of pressure on a kid to be the guy who's got to come and stop the losing streak.
There's no help coming from the outside at this point. It's got to be fixed from the guys that are here.
Yeah.
They have to figure out how to play better, how to execute, bring back whatever that fun mojo was for the first 16, 17 games of the year that's been missing the last few games. You got to figure that out. They were finding ways to win before, and now it seems like they're finding ways to lose.
Real quick, Holly on it, watching her Ice Hog, says Korchinski took warm-ups and was announced to be in the lineup but never played.
Wow.
So
maybe he had the poops.
It happens. It happens, especially after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, day after Thanksgiving, sometimes the stuffing,
We're being yelled at to address Sam Renzel, so I'm going to address Sam Renzel. Sam Renzel had a 63% Corsi tonight at 5-on-5, 24 shot attempts for, 14 against with him on the ice. Scoring shots for were 8-7. Scoring chances were 8-7. The only place where he was faltered was high danger chances for and against. It was 1-3. He was the Hawks leader in Corsi for percentage. So I think there we go. We talked about Sam Renzel. He was analytically the best Hawk on the ice,
and he was even on the score. He wasn't. Was he out there for a goal against? I don't think he was.
And he had an assist.
He did take that bad penalty with 3.5 to go.
Yeah.
That was not great. But it was one of those plays that, that happened so fast, but you're a rookie defenseman, and it's Philip Forsberger goes down. Guess who's getting that? You're going to get that called against you every single time. The puck was gone, not far gone, but it was gone. I don't know. Renzel is a rookie young defenseman.
Yes, there's going to be
like
struggles.
A rookie young defenseman.
Yeah.
If they send him down to Rockford, fine. If they let him play it out here, fine.
Look,
he hasn't been a liability. He hasn't been. Has his play kind of fluctuated, gone up and down? Started the season really good.
Yeah, no kidding.
And now it's well, I don't know what you expected from a.
He's 21 years old.
Yeah, I don't know what you expected from that. I mean, I know.
Why are you not Nick Lidstrom immediately, you bum?
I know he looks great at the end of the year last year, and not a lot of people, but there were some people that were like, hey, he's going to be a Calder finalist. That's how good he's going to be. And
that was me. I said that.
Yeah, I believe our pal Charlie said it too. The
Greek brothers.
I was going to say the two Greek brothers.
One of my Greek brothers.
But they didn't lose tonight because of Sam Renzel.
No.
They lost tonight because they got outworked and out hustled from top to bottom, and made some mistakes that cost them, and couldn't score in 6 straight minutes of the power play in the first period. You net one there.
I mean, I think Nashville had a pretty good approach against the Hawks tonight too, knowing that the Hawks play the man-on-man style. They were stopping and starting and turning and switching. They were trying to confuse the Hawks, and when you've got a young team that you're playing against, that is easier to do than it would be against Colorado or Dallas or a veteran-laden playoff experienced team. You got these guys out there thinking like, where's my man? Where did he go? I got to stop and start. They had the Hawks in fits most of the game. And their, defense going deep, forwards going back. They had the Hawks kind of chasing their tails the entire time. So you got to give a little bit of credit to Nashville for the game plan.
That's a good way to play against a young, aggressive team.
Yeah.
Get them moving, get them out of position, and then you find soft spots on the ice to score goals, which they did.
Yes. All right, Mario is standing by, so we're going to get some Jeff Blashill audio here coming up in a second. Just so you don't have to Google it, Wally Pipp was on the Yankees in the 20s, Chloe, and he was the
1920s.
Starting first baseman, and he scratched out of a game because he had a headache, and guess who came in to play for him? Lou Gehrig. And that was the end of Wally Pipp.
Do you know who Lou Gehrig, the guy that they named the disease after?
Chloe.
She knew that. Lou Gehrig set the record for the most consecutive games played until Cal Ripken broke it. So he played in like over so Wally Pipp had a headache and never played a game because Lou Gehrig never came out of the lineup again. So that's one. Yeah.
There you go. There's your history lesson for the day, kids. Hit the like button if you enjoyed that or if you hated it. Also, we're not talking about Gavin McKenna. Stop it.
Yeah, knock it off.
Get out of here. That's over. We're not talking about Gavin McKenna anymore unless Florida keeps falling off.
There's plenty of YouTube shows that talk about Gavin McKenna.
All right. Break zone time. Back in 2 minutes with Mario and Jeff Blashill on CHGO Blackhawks. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. If it's not already elevated enough, it's pretty dang elevated. But we can always use more elevation. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They've got a huge selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup wherever you are in Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you. I know there's Champaign, Wrigleyville, South Beloit, tons. You got one near you, I promise. Again, as far south as Champaign, head to their website for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases with our code HICHGO. Use that code at checkout to qualify. Check out some of my favorite brands, the Good News, the Mindy's. Those get me through the day very, very often. Really good stuff. And if you're a returning customer, use the code CHGO50. Some exclusions apply on that one. Sunnyside Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus, or Illinois medical card holders. And you want your game to be simple. That's why this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Here's how you play. More than, less than. It's very easy. So, for instance, DeAndre Swift, more than 100 yards rushing. Said more than, that's a winner. How about that? That's how you do it. The more of those you stack, the more you win on Prize Picks. It's just that simple to play. And it's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So you can pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we assume you are. There is Mario Tirabassi live from the UC. We did not get the opportunity to play Burakovsky or Green. So did not get to hear their comments. What was the mood in the locker room today? I would actually hope, pretty frustrated.
Yeah, I would say frustrated and searching for answers. Andre Burakovsky really did not have any kind of pinpointed answer to what was the issue, why are second periods bad, how did he feel in the game. Even didn't really have a read on that. Said he didn't feel good in his return. I don't know if that means just the way he played or physically. So not a lot of great answers coming from the locker room tonight. And Jeff Blashill, I think, laid it out as this was a game where you don't have enough guys who don't have their A game, and there's not enough secondary B game in this group right now where you can get away with having that many guys have off nights. So it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, especially, you've got a crowd there excited about the black uniforms, excited about the Bears game. And I know the Hawks don't really think about that stuff, but it's just that it was a big opportunity here to halt this losing streak against a team that is ready to sell, that is ready to cash in on the season, and you play one of your worst games of the year against them. It's more beyond frustrating. It's disappointing because I thought we were past this point with the Hawks where they're just, they have games where they just don't show up, and that I think that was a part of it tonight. Like losing board battles, losing races of puck. Speed is their game, and they were not the faster team tonight.
No, I think it is incredibly disappointing. I think you have a sellout. It's a Friday night crowd. They had a lot that they wanted to cheer for. The buzz with the jerseys was palpable to start the game, and then you go out in the first period, and honestly, the first period even wasn't that great. But you come out of it with a 1-0 lead thanks to Ryan Donato's goal late in the period, and then I just don't know which body snatchers sneak into the locker room between the first and second periods and completely come out and play like a different team every single game. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Is it a competitiveness, energy level thing? Is it an execution thing? Is it an adjustments thing? I have no idea. And they don't either. And it's getting really frustrating how you go first periods usually pretty good from this team, or at least even. Then you come out in the second period and they're buns night after night after night. And then you have to go into the third period and hope, oh, this is their best period. And you have to hang on the fact that like they have to play a really good 20 minutes here to either win or have a chance to come back and tie it. And like that can't be sustainable over 82 games. Like they have to figure out what is going to allow them to string together consistently games where I'm not even talking about a complete full 60-minute effort. Like that's a cliche. No team for 60 minutes dominates start to finish, right? But you can't have these peaks and valleys be so polar opposite from the team that plays in the first period and the third period to the second period. Like you can't have that keep rolling over game after game after game after game. So I don't know if it's just they have to dig deep and find it, add another cliche to the pile, but something has to give with this team where they come out for a second period and they carry over momentum from the first, and they don't have to hang on the third period bailing them out night after night.
Well, I mean, you'd think by this point that it's happened so many times that there would just be like okay, it's the second period. Let's go not F this up. Let's do everything in our power to make sure we start fast, focused, ready to go. Like, I know they don't have an answer, and I know it's frustrating, and yada, 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 all those things. We're, 24 games into the season, 25 games into the season now, and it's been pretty much every game, the second has been their worst. Any sort of competitor would say, hey, look, here we go again. 20 minutes in the books, intermission's over, the second period's about to start. We better get it together. We better lock in here and figure this out. And even if you just start the period in a safe way where you're just getting the puck at the center ice and dumping it in to keep it simple so things don't start unraveling for you for the first 5 or 6 minutes, fine. There's got to be some answer here. There has to be some answer aside from, I don't know. Well, we can't figure it out.
I'm sure they have those conversations getting ready for the second period.
I would hope so.
But saying we got to do it and actually doing it are two completely different things, apparently. I mean, that's where you almost kind of miss having, I know Colton Dock's kind of that guy, but you miss having that bowling ball energy guy that maybe in the second period you go out there and you start that guy that's going to go out there on that first shift and throw a couple of big hits and get guys into the game. That sort of stuff makes a big difference. You really don't have that guy right now. I know he started the second period with the Nazar line who started the game, but maybe you do that for the second period where you get a guy out there to just throw a couple of checks, put a guy in the first row of seats, get people awake.
It can't be up to Doc every night.
Right. So I don't know, maybe you start the second period with Donato out there and let Donato hit somebody, or that defensive line start, set the tone early in that period. But it seems that every time the second period, they lose the opening faceoff, and the first 90 seconds of the period is in their zone. To put something out there that's going to flip that script, and you start the period in the offensive zone, throwing some hits, getting people, excited. Because it's almost like you get to the second period and everybody in the building now knows, like, well, here comes the crap period. Hopefully they're not down too many goals leading into, going into the third.
Yeah. The other thing too is you got Haig throwing haymakers at Oliver Moore.
Noted thug, Oliver Moore.
Right. And I didn't see Haig take a big hit later in the game. I didn't see him have to drop the gloves later in the game. All the stuff that we were really excited about early in the year about like how this team was together, this is the first time they've really hit a patch of struggle and hardship. And this is where, a coaching staff proves itself and where team leadership proves itself. And it's time for someone to step up and take this thing and flip the script. It's needed. It's needed right now because, as you mentioned, like, it's Anaheim up next, then it's the Kings twice, like in Vegas. It's not getting easier for them here.
Western Conference teams you got to get points against.
And you just don't want 4 in a row, 5 in a row to turn into 6, 7, or 8 in a row. Then we're back, then we're back to talking about how we were last year. And I don't think that's this team. So I don't know. I'm hoping there's some answers somewhere.
Yeah, we can. If we want to turn to Jeff Blashill for some answers, he had some assessment of both the game and the second periods, talking after the game, so we can when we play that and get the head coach's perspective.
Yeah, I didn't think we were very good, honestly, all night. To be honest with you, I would say it was a game where I didn't think, we talked last game about, okay, we played probably 2 pretty good games in a row and didn't win, but you just keep repeating that and you'll get results. And I just thought from, maybe the first few minutes of the game we were all right, and I didn't think we were good enough the rest of the way. And, that manifests itself more in the second when you can't get on and off the ice. But to me, it was kind of the way we went through the game.
What do you chalk that up to?
Learning, like we better learn, learning like it's an everyday league, and you can't you can't walk out and not be as prepared to play as you have to. I don't know if prepared is the right word. It's an everyday league, man. You have to be. I thought we had a number of guys not have their A game tonight. And it happens, I guess. That's going to happen. You're not going to be your A game every night, but your B game, your next game has to be a B game, not a C game. And I thought, we have too many guys probably at their C game, and so you got to find a way when we're not on top of it, maybe when we're not great, to still be good. And I didn't think we were good enough tonight.
You got to.
I think one thing that no one's talking about, and I wonder if this is playing a factor in this team, is seasonal depression. These cold, gloomy days, I don't know if it's just you get sleepy in the afternoon and the energy is just down. I wonder if this team just is having trouble coming to the rink and feeling like they are ready to go. Now, I'm talking a little bit in jest, but it just feels like this is an issue where, and we talk about this team being young, and Jeff Blashill has said many, many times, that line he said there, that it's an everyday league. And that is playing a factor in this. I really do think that. I really do think this is a lot of first and second year guys that are going through NHL life for the first time, right? Rinzel's doing it. Moore's doing it. Nazar, this is his first full season. Levshinov, this is his first full season. Like, you have a lot of young players, Ryan Green, that are getting into the NHL life, right? And it's a lot different than, you play 2 games on a weekend in college, you go to your classes, you go to your parties or whatever. But now this is business time. And every time you step on the ice for practice, for morning skate, for games, like it's business. It's real. You're getting paid to do this. Like I think that is for the young players, the lesson that we're hoping that they learn and that gets instilled in them so that they're the ones that that they can be able to bring it night in and night out. The veterans, I don't know what their excuse would be. These guys have done it for years. So I think it's just like a collective thing that is on certain nights holding this team back and you don't want to be a team that's like, everyone has to have their perfect game so you have a chance. Like, you got to be able to kind of ebb and flow with it. But it just feels like, and this is what we wanted. We wanted the young players to play. So this is one of those growing pains that you have to live with. But I think this is like that moment where you kind of have to feel like these young guys need to kind of get over that hump of this point in the season. This is what the NHL life is. And I think the veterans have to help them with that, but they also can't be the ones that are guilty of not being ready to play, not being ready to have your A game.
All right, 25 sun lamps ordered on Amazon immediately. Take care of these Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. Let's get the seasonal affective disorder cleared up. I know you're tongue in cheek about that, even though people in the chat think you're serious. But that's the chat. The reality is, and I think you're right, like this is the grind of an NHL season on young players, and the grind is much easier to withstand when you're getting points and getting wins and the vibes are big and Connor Bedard's got a hat trick and everyone's happy and you're overachieving and you're the talk of the NHL, right? But when the losses start to stack up, the grind feels more amplified to young players. Like, look, Jason Dickinson has lost 4 games in a row before. Nick Foligno's lost 4 games. They know. Even like Tavo played on the Dynasty Blackhawks and the always good Carolina Hurricanes and has gone through a 4-game losing streak before. So to him, it's not just like, all right, fine. Yeah, we're going through a bad streak. Shake it off. Let's keep working hard and we'll get back to where we get. Whereas I'm just saying, I'm naming young players here. Moore, Renzel, Levshon, like even we saw with the first 2 years of Bedard was him learning the lesson of it's different here. This is the NHL. You cannot be first guy on, last guy off, an extra half hour of skating every day. They have to learn to live this NHL life. It took Connor Bedard 2 seasons to do it. And while we're all very happy that the Hawks decided to say, if you're young and you're ready, you're here. This is part of what we have to live with this year is these young guys adjusting to the dog days of the NHL season. It has nothing to do with cloudiness or cold. What Mario is saying is it's getting used to the grind of 3 games a week, practice every day, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what they need to get used to.
Yeah. And again, like I would hope that this veteran group, Dickinson and Bertuzzi and Burakovsky and Teravainen and Murphy and those guys, like I would hope they're not the ones falling into that, dog days feeling at the end of November. Like you want them to be able to be the ones that can keep carrying this group when the young guys aren't able to, really push and play those roles like Nazar and Moore. Like they're that you talk about energy guys. Like, yeah, you can have energy guys that go out and lay hits, but you also want to have your energy guys like actually have the speed and foot speed and jump to win a race to a puck or be able to, skate their way into an offensive chance and not get hemmed in their own zone and worn down for, 2-3 minutes at a time.
We've seen a lot in the chat about this team misses their captain. The Hawks are 1-4-1 since Nick Foligno got hurt. I don't think that's a coincidence. I know Nick Foligno isn't the, top line elite scoring winger that we all want Connor Bedard to have. But, when I talked earlier about start that second period with a guy that goes out there and lays a big hit, Nick Foligno is the guy that can do that and will willingly do that and doesn't have to be told to do that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're missing their captain and it shows, a lot of, there's a portion of the fan base that just look at the stats and be like, oh yeah, Nick Foligno is a bum. He only scores 10 goals, but he does so many of those little things that we never see. He does so many things in that room. So, missing him is a factor to this as well.
By the way, he does stuff on the ice too.
Yeah.
Like I think it's unfair that I think Nick Foligno sometimes gets painted as this crusty old bum who can't play, but he's just such a damn good leader. They got to keep him out there. Nick Foligno is an effective hockey player. He makes the right decision 95% of the time. He's still got some scoring touch. He is still physical. He is still built like a guy in his 20s. Like, he works his ass off to stay in shape. Like, for a 37-year-old, Nick Foligno is contributing a lot to this team. It's not just off the ice, figurehead, happy-go-lucky leader veteran. He is effective. Nick Foligno is an effective and important hockey player for this team, and he can't come back soon enough.
He's a guy you put on the ice when it feels like the game's getting away from you. And he calms the situation down and gets that momentum back to even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think having him around the group. I mean, it's not like he's off on his own away from the team. Like, he's definitely still at the meetings, at the rink. Like, he's still around the team. But it is different to not have him on the bench, not have him on the ice. Like you guys said, like, he is able to have that kind of calming presence when things can get screwy out there. So. Yeah, I think that is a bit of part of the factor of why this team is kind of feeling like they're not able to keep the standards that they've been on to begin the season.
All right, what else did we hear from Jeff Blashill post-game here?
Well, he talked about how he's, from a coaching perspective, trying to navigate this stretch and what they have ahead is some tough games. So how he's going to try and handle the adversity and the emotions of the group.
Yeah, confidence is a funny thing. It's a huge thing in this game, in sports in general, I guess, in life. And my only answer is you have to kind of earn your own confidence, and you earn it by doing things right. You earn it by your compete, your work ethic. You have to dig in, and I think only the most mentally tough survive this league, and so we're gonna have to be mentally tough and dig in.
I mean, it's what we're saying, right? He's saying exactly the stuff we're saying. I think the players understand what needs to happen too. It's very easy for us to sit on this set, or you just sit in the bowels of the United Center and say they gotta figure out. They do, and they know they do. I still very much believe in the makeup of this team. I think Kyle Davidson drafted a type of personality, a type of player when building this roster of high character, hard work, obviously speed, those sort of things. So I don't have any doubt they're gonna do the work they need to do to get it back. But it's just, you want it to happen sooner than later, and it's just, tonight feels like a massive missed opportunity to get right.
Yeah, I mean, the games that we just saw them play against Colorado and Minnesota following the Buffalo game were encouraging. And even though you come away with just 1 point in those games, it was, we said it on the post-game show on Wednesday night. It was a Cale Makar really nice goal that was the difference in the Colorado game, and the sequence with Minnesota played out like it did in overtime, and it's Kirill Kaprizov getting the overtime winner. So you come away being like, darn, should have got some better results from those games for the way that we played. This is another game where you look at money puck, Blackhawks deserve to win-o-meter, it favors them. And it was against an opponent that, I know you guys said it before, it's an opponent you should have beat. Nashville is not a good team, and I looked at it before the game. Blackhawks were a betting underdog tonight at home against Nashville, and I could not make sense of that. What do you mean they're at home? Nashville's terrible. This Blackhawks team has been playing better the last two games. Why are they an underdog? Well, Vegas knew something about this game tonight, and I something similar in this game and the Buffalo game is the guy who was in net. And I'm not I'm not looking at Arvid Soderblom and the guy's a bum. Get rid of him. But this is another start, even the Buffalo game aside, where you look at the end of the night and you say, you know what, there's at least one goal up on the board that shouldn't be. And I'm not comparing him to Spencer Knight. That's not fair. Spencer Knight has been otherworldly this season. But even for most goaltenders in the NHL, there's at least one goal in games that he's played recently that you're like, that should be a save.
Well, and it's expected goals against tonight at all strengths 2.48, and he gave up 4. So the stats play it out.
Yeah, and you can't play Spencer Knight 80 games, but I do wonder if we start seeing a stretch where I know there's going to be some back-to-backs. You can't avoid it, but I do wonder if we start to see a stretch where Spencer Knight gets more like 4 starts out of 5 or 5 out of 6, rather than 3 out of 4 or whatever it is.
All right, good job, man. We will talk to you Sunday.
All right, Sunday afternoon.
All right, that's Mario Tirabassi from the United Center. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. We've got to award our game puck. Easy pick tonight. The game puck winner is Ryan Donato. Kind of played like a man. I'm sorry, Ryan Green. Ryan Green.
Wrong Ryan.
Well, both Ryans played. This was the night of the Ryans. Ryan Green had a really good game too. Obviously, goal post, and we had the let's see, where are the numbers here? 4 shots and 5 more shot attempts. Also won 50% of his draws. So there is your game puck of the game. I will add him to the list. But I think Ryan Donato also. You talk about a guy that was engaged and ready to go. It was Ryan Donato. I was watching him in warm-ups, and I was like, damn, he looks ready. He had a goal, 3 shots, 4 more shot attempts, 3 hits for Ryan Donato. So a good game for him. But Ryan Green is your game puck winner. That is his first of the year. So congrats to him. Wow, he won big. 61% of the vote for Ryan Green.
I think I was the only guy that voted for my nomination. To be fair, when I made the nomination, he had 2 assists on the board, but then they took 1 away.
Yeah.
Those jerks.
They are jerks. We know this. The NHL is jerks. All right, let's get to some of the super chats we have. I'm presuming we will go to overtime because we have a lot of super chats. So in a few minutes, if you're watching us on the fast channels, that is like your Roku or your Xfinity channel or those sort of things, you will lose us, and you can switch over to allchgo.com to finish the broadcast. $10 from Brady says the Hawks are 0-6 with me in attendance. Don't blame them for this one. Definitely on me and my curse. Wow, that's
stop going to games,
don't
Brady.
Admit that, dude.
Jesus, dude, you should have stopped after the 3rd one. It's you.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's brutal. You. I'm gonna look for you Sunday, and if you're there, I'm having security throw your ass out.
A Blue Chameleon, $10, says, I love that Blashill doesn't change things too quickly, but it's time to switch things up. Renzel to Rockford for a few. Nazar to Bedard's waiting to get him going. I don't know. Maybe I'm just watching a different Sam Renzel. He has not been awesome, but I don't think he's doing anything to earn a demotion to Rockford.
If he was as bad as some people think he is, he'd be in Rockford.
Yeah,
Kyle Davidson's not going to mess around, and he'll send him down there when he needs to be down there. I don't think it's to that point yet. Sam Renzel's not the reason the Blackhawks lost tonight. Sam Renzel's not the reason they're on a 5-game losing streak. They're losing as a team. They've won as a team.
Yeah.
Now they're losing as a team. It's not one person that cost the loss tonight. They got outplayed when it mattered most as a team.
Mike Boudry, $10, says thoughts on changing up 11 and 7.
It's not going to happen.
It doesn't feel like it's going to happen. You're looking at the ice time here, and it's very well distributed. Bedard was the ice time leader with 23-23. Then the only other players over 20 were Tavo, Vlasic, and Levchinov.
Okay, so if you went 12 forwards tonight, how much difference would Landon Slaggert or Sam Lafferty made in the outcome of this game? 0.
No. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, if you have like
if Foligno's back, I'm thinking about it.
Maybe. But as Jeff Blashill said, it's about the young defenseman and being able to play them in situations that make sense. It's not about the 12th forward.
Yeah.
And, you get a guy with that, combination, you get Ryan Green or Colton Dock and Oliver Moore get to get shifts with Frank Nazar and Connor Bedard.
Right.
It's not a bad thing. I
want to hear what is the specific criticism of 11 and 7? Because someone on Twitter was saying like they look tired at the end of the game, but last year Sam Renzel was playing 25 minutes a night, and now he's playing 17. So it's no one on this team is getting ground into
the numbers. If you go game by game and look at the time on ice, is nobody's getting, outside of a couple of weird games early in the year where Connor Bedard was out there a ton, and some of those games early in the year were Zell. But for the most part, you go game by game, the differences between the two games that they did do 12. I looked this up the other day after the game where Foligno got hurt and they had to play with 10. Or was it the Seattle? Whatever game it was, doesn't matter.
I mean, that would be the one criticism. A forward gets hurt and you're down to 10 forwards.
But, Minnesota lost 3 forwards the other night for an extended period of time. They won.
Yep.
So it's an excuse. It's not a good one. But the 2 games that they had 12 forwards, I didn't count the Montreal home opener because that game was so crazy. The Hawks had 10 penalties against them.
Yeah.
Those times, that was a weird one. You throw it out. The difference was minimal, like maybe a minute more for Connor Bedard, or at least some of the forwards. It didn't change a whole lot. I think because they've lost 5 in a row, people are looking for a change. It might come. Listen, Jeff Blashill gets asked every other day about changing. Every day somebody's asking him about it, and he just thinks this is the best system for his team. And up until a week ago, it was. And I don't think that's changed.
Yeah, I mean, who do you want to sit?
Well, obviously Sam Renzel. He's a bum.
Okay.
He's not even
So you're going to put
player.
Sam Lafferty or Landon Slaggert in instead of Sam Renzel?
That doesn't make it.
It doesn't make your team better.
That makes your team worse.
Exactly.
Now, Foligno comes back and you've got some forwards humming, maybe, because having a fourth line of Foligno, Moore, and Doc is a lot better than a fourth line of Doc, Moore, and Landon Slaggert.
Yeah.
Maybe. But right now, it's not going to change. He's not going to do it just to do it. He's going to do it when it makes sense.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's not saying that I believe 11 and 7 is a better hockey system. He's saying for the roster this is a better opportunity.
Right. Later in the season, if they trade a veteran defenseman away, if a younger forward comes up, and now all of a sudden you have more depth up front, then you do it. You also have to remember the Hawks have been missing key forwards almost all season. It's just someone else takes a turn. Dickinson was gone for a while. Bertuzzi missed a couple games. Nazar missed some games. Foligno's now out. Burakovsky was out. You haven't really had your full forward at your disposal at all this season. No. It always seems like there's one guy missing. So that also, makes the 7 and 11 easier.
Play Brossois as a 12 forward.
But he has to wear the goalie pads.
That's right. It's only fair. All right. Lucas Reichel, $5 super chat, says Matt Grzelcyk had a myriad of good plays. It is myriad good plays tonight. Most consistent player tonight. Would love to hear your breakdown. Grzelcyk's been great all year. He just is very, very steady.
He's a guy that
leads the team in shots, by the way, for a defenseman.
Yeah. He's a guy that Jeff Blashill can put on the ice and not worry about.
Yes, that is a big luxury on a young team.
When you don't notice Matt Grzelcyk, which you probably don't most nights, it's because he's doing his job.
Yeah. He has been a really under-the-radar ad.
I still can't.
A guy who had 40 points last year?
Yeah, 39 assists last year at Pittsburgh.
And he was just sitting there
24 of them were at 5-on-5, so it wasn't all just Sidney Crosby tipping in his shots on the power play. I was surprised he had to go the PTO route, and now watching him play through quarter of the season, I have no idea how he made it. Didn't, all these teams, playoff teams looking for defensemen, how he didn't get a contract.
Because he's small. I'm telling you that's why. Because he's small. Last time the Hawks signed a noteworthy defenseman to a PDO, they won a Stanley Cup. It was Brent Sopel.
It's good to know. But he wasn't small.
No, he's not. He's a large man. Madhouse Meek, $10 $10 says, congrats, you've been awarded compensation for the negativity of trolls in chat. Thank you for always putting things in perspective for everyone, even when they don't listen. Thanks for your sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. We love doing this job. We appreciate it very much. Thank you, Madhouse Meek. Madhouse Meek is there like every show.
We just know who to ignore.
Yes.
And most nights we do a pretty good job at that.
Yeah. Dessa, $5, says, anyone who thinks Green and Levshunov are the problem in this game, you're as blind as the refs. Let's go, Hawks. There you go. And Mike Boudry, $5, says, if you see Fliggy in your press stuff, can you let him know the CHGO chat crew sends their love? Sure.
We'll do.
You could just, man, like we saw Foligno was in the locker room the other day. His kids were out there skating before and after practice, and he just looks like a sad puppy. He just wants to get back on the ice so bad. You could tell it's like killing him.
Well,
and especially now.
It's also because his kids are on Thanksgiving break. He
That too.
needs them to go back to school.
That's probably killing him too. That's probably killing him too.
Some of that seasonal depression.
Yeah.
We will definitely tell him that. The funny story, you didn't ask for a nugget or tidbit, but I got one.
Oh, nice.
Today at morning skate, while we were talking to Jeff Blashill out in the hallway, Fliggy was leaving with Connor Bedard and Colton Dock. They were heading out, and they walked behind where the media meets in the hallway. So Blashill's facing him, and Blashill's in mid-sentence about the black jerseys. And he literally just stops and goes, oh, my, those are nice shoes. Hey, Fliggy, where'd you get those shoes? He's had a few of those moments where, like, he can keep it light. And I think that's a good trait to have, especially in a time where, things aren't going great. This is the most adversity this team has faced this season. So it's nice that, that he's not uptight about it and gripping the stick too tight.
Well, it's funny because
he's still loose and doing so. I think that will go well, especially with a young team. We're like, okay, our coach isn't panicked, so we just got to do what we do.
There have been a handful of times where we were like, oh, he's going to be fired up after this postgame, and he just he approaches the postgame with a good perspective of, yeah, we got to be better. Some things didn't go our way, but like you said today, not enough guys had their A games and that sort of thing. Like, he's just very level-headed while at the same time having accountability in practice. He holds guys accountable. When there is a competition, there is a winner and a loser in every drill. And the loser has to go touch the boards and come back. It's not a big deal, but it is a defining winner or loser. He is creating competition that way. So I like that he's level. I think when that's the thing you want the most is when things start going bad, you want to know that your players can look to the coach and feel inspired by it instead of like, this guy has no answers. And I think we saw that before. And you said it today, Luke Richardson is going to head coach again in this league, and he's going to. But I think one of the things he learned in his first time on a job was maybe he's got to be a little more definitive, a little more confident, because I think there were times they looked to him and there wasn't an answer. And I think the players felt like, well, if he doesn't know how to fix this, no one does. And then we talked about it last year with Sorensen, where the referees would be in their, weekly screwing of the Blackhawks. And Sorensen was questioned, like, why don't you say something?
Right.
And he says, well, it's not going to change anything. Why would I say anything?
Well, there was a moment at the end of skate today. They got done doing their drills, and then they get back, they circle around center ice, and Blashill gives them a little bit. I couldn't hear what he had to say because he's also really good at knowing when to speak quieter. So we don't hear what he's saying. But while he was talking to the team, Arvid Soderblom was standing kind of near him, and he pointed to Arvid at one point during what he was saying. And so you could figure out that he's saying, hey, last time you let this guy down. Let's not do that tonight. So like, he knows when to be loose. He knows when to have fun with us. But he also knows when it's time to, be the ass kicker. And then that's the experience level, is to know when to be their friend and when to, swat him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like
figuratively.
Like Gibbs on
not like Mark
NCIS.
Crawford.
Right. Don't do that. But yeah.
Question from Pat. Pat says, lots of scouts at this game watching Chicago or Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville is
open. The Hawks are not. I don't think the Hawks are going to make any sort of
no
moves.
The scouts,
probably period. Your moves are Frondell and Kancherov and maybe Boisvert and those sort of things.
Lots of scouts, mostly watching Nashville because they're the team that has, already had their general manager publicly question the effort of his team. So you're looking for guys to pick off there. I think the scouting booth at the United Center is a bit overrated because it's always crowded because it's a hub.
Yeah.
Guys are transferring flights in and out of O'Hare, so they'll lay over a night and catch a game at the United Center, or they'll come. A lot of the guys do AHL games too, so they'll hit the United Center and then they'll go to Rockford for the weekend, or they'll go to Rosemont and watch the Wolves game. So
there's a lot happening.
It's kind of like a central hub for NHL scouts is the Blackhawks game. So they're not necessarily there scouting for one team or the other, but they're just kind of it's kind of like their landing spot because they all fly out of O'Hare the next day.
Yeah, so I wouldn't read too much into it, but if you're asking which one of those two teams is selling, it is Nashville. That's for sure.
Blackhawks, there's only one or two guys they'll probably move at this point, unless things go completely haywire.
Well, let's hope not. All right, before we wrap up, we got to tell you our Black Friday sale is underway, up to 90% off at our shop. So stock up for the holidays. You got friends who love CHGO. You got friends who love Chicago sports. Pick up some merch. I'm wearing my favorite hoodie today. I've been wearing it the whole show. But store.allcitynetwork.com. If you're a diehard, of course, you save more. But take advantage of our Black Friday sale going on now. Store.allcitynetwork.com. We'd love to have you stock up for the holidays. And we got to beat these other All-City stations. We're seeing, like, Denver's beating us. Like, they got the Nuggets and the Avalanche. They have won enough. All right? Screw Denver and their fraudulent Broncos. All right? There, I said it. Yeah, the fraudulent Broncos. Yeah. Yeah, you too, Chloe, with your Colorado Buffalo. Speaking of fraudulent, Chloe's wearing a Colorado Buffalo shirt on.
How's Coach Prime doing these days?
The most unearned clout in the history of college football.
Okay, he came after I had already graduated college, so I wasn't a part of that.
All right, fine. You're alumni, so it doesn't count.
Thank you.
Fine. All right, I respect you again. Now that you know who Lou Gehrig is. All right, we will be back Sunday.
Not just a disease.
After Hawks and Ducks. 2 o'clock puck drop. So what, about 5 o'clock post game? Should be fun.
I like it.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Thanks for being with us. If you have not, please hit that like button on the way out. We'll talk to you Sunday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast, presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.